Wi-Fi, Bluetooth? Would you believe that a Hollywood actress helped invent them? She was once called the most beautiful woman in the world, but no one knew she was also a genius inventor until it was far too late. Her story began in the 1930s in Europe and lit up Hollywood's red carpets. But her true power was hidden off screen. Hedy Lamarr didn't just act. She escaped a dangerous marriage, married 6 times, and lived a life full of secrets, science, and strength. She co-created a technology meant to fight Nazis, but it would later become the foundation for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. She was glamorous, mysterious, and brilliant, a Hollywood legend and one of the unsung heroes of modern tech. Now let's dive into the life of Hedy Lamarr, a woman whose beauty dazzled the world, but whose mind could have changed it forever. Fact 1. It all began like a movie. Born in 1914 in Vienna, the capital of Austria, into a wealthy and cultured family, Hedwig Eva Kiesler, the future Hedy Lamarr, who would one day captivate the world, was different from the very beginning. Her father didn't raise her like an ordinary child. One thing she never let go of was her passion for taking apart mechanical devices. She loved dismantling and rebuilding clocks, radios, even cars, a sign of genius from a young age. She was as intelligent as she was beautiful, but fate had other plans for her. Drawing her into a world of glamour and lights, Hedy's life unfolded like a movie script from the start, filled with wealth, art, and unexpected twists. Soon as a young woman, she stepped onto the European cinema stage and captured attention not only for her beauty, but also for her natural, magnetic talent. And this was just the beginning, as if the world had been waiting for her arrival. Fact 2, she became a film star at 16. By the time she was 16, Hedy had already begun to shine as a rising star in European cinema. In the early 1930s, despite her young age, she was offered major roles. Her breakthrough came in 1933 with the film Ecstasy. This film made her famous not only in Europe, but around the world. Ecstasy was considered bold and controversial for its time. Hedy openly displayed raw emotions on screen and appeared in scenes that sparked widespread debate and criticism. While her courage and natural talent shocked many, it also accelerated her rise in the film industry. She wasn't just a beautiful woman, she was a strong actress, charismatic, and deeply respected for her craft. As she rapidly climbed the ranks of European cinema, Hollywood took notice. But her life wasn't limited to acting. It was the beginning of a journey that would later shake the world of science and technology. Fact 3. A new star was born in Hollywood. For Hedy Lamarr, life wasn't just about shining in front of cameras. Her real life played out like a spy movie. In 1937, as Europe was falling under the shadow of the Nazis, Hedy, already a rising star, was drowning in her personal life. At the time, she was married to Friedrich Mandl, one of Austria's wealthiest men and a notorious arms dealer. Mandl wasn't just a businessman. He had close ties to both Hitler and Mussolini. In that marriage, Hedy was trapped like a bird in a gilded cage. But Hedy Lamarr was never meant to live in the shadows. One night, wearing her maid's uniform, she secretly escaped from her husband's heavily guarded villa. This wasn't just a woman fleeing her marriage. It was a bold leap toward freedom, identity, and the future. She fled to Paris, then to London. And there, a strange coincidence changed the course of her destiny. She met Louis B. Mayer, the head of MGM Studios. The moment Mayer saw Hedy, he recognized her luminous beauty and presence. He invited her to America and gave her a new name, Hedy Lamarr. And so, a new star was born in Hollywood. In 1938, she made her debut in the film Algiers and instantly won the hearts of audiences. Her beauty wasn't just attractive, it was hypnotic. Critics called her the silent symphony of beauty. Her radiant, mysterious gaze, soft voice, and aristocratic elegance made her one of the most iconic actresses of the 1940s. But still, no one knew that, behind closed doors at night, this glamorous actress had a laboratory in her home and was quietly preparing to make history. Fact 4. Her true role was off-screen. On screen, Hedy Lamarr looked like a goddess. Flawless face, seductive eyes, a timeless beauty. But when the bright lights faded and the camera stopped rolling, her life was far from a fairy tale. In reality, she was a soul lost in search of love. Hedy married 6 times. Yes, 6 times. Her first husband, arms dealer Friedrich Mendel, suffocated her with jealousy and control. After escaping this marriage, she believed that perhaps freedom would bring love along with it. But that never fully happened. In her second, third, and subsequent marriages, she experienced the same pattern: passionate beginnings, silent middles, and broken ends. Each time she started over, and each time she shattered a little more. She also had children, but even motherhood couldn't fully fill the emptiness inside her. Hedy once wrote in her diary, "No one really sees me. They only love my appearance. No one sees the storm inside." Her beauty brought her fame, but it also seemed to overshadow her intelligence and soul. She longed to be loved for her mind, her spirit, her dreams. But the men she met only loved the image of Hedy Lamarr, not the real Hedwig Eva Kiesler inside. She sought love in art, in her inventions, and sometimes in solitude. On quiet nights, she worked for hours in her lab, slowly breaking herself apart, and at the same time, writing history. Hedy Lamarr never found happiness in love, but maybe that emptiness redirected her energy and led her to create an invention that would one day change the world. Fact 5. She possessed a brilliant mind and a proud spirit. Hedy Lamarr was not just a symbol of beauty, she stood out for her intellectual depth. She often said, "People see my beauty, but they don't look at my brain." As long as those around her saw her only as an actress, Hedy felt undervalued, because shining in front of a camera was not enough for her. She wanted to invent, solve problems, and make a real contribution to the world. Hedy was frustrated that her talent was overshadowed by her looks. She once remarked, "My brain is wrapped in a pretty package, but no one ever bothers to open it." She was both brilliant and deeply lonely inside, but her pride didn't hold her back. It pushed her forward. In an era dominated by male engineers, she single-handedly laid the foundation for a technological revolution. Her inner pride was a quiet rebellion against being judged by appearances alone. And that rebellion led to Wi-Fi. Fact 6. If your Wi-Fi works while you're surfing, thank Hedy. Picture this. You're lying on a beach, phone in hand, casually scrolling through social media, listening to music, or watching a video with the sound of waves in the background. The Wi-Fi is strong, the connection stable. But have you ever stopped to think, behind this everyday convenience is an invention by a movie star? It might sound like a joke, but it's absolutely true. Hedy Lamarr, the Hollywood icon of the 1940s. While her beauty made headlines, her intellect was perhaps even more astonishing. She laid the foundation for a technology called frequency hopping, the idea of transmitting signals across changing frequencies. Her goal? To prevent enemy forces from tracking torpedoes during wartime. Though her invention wasn't fully appreciated at the time, it later became the backbone of modern technologies like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. Today, the reason you can connect to the internet safely and reliably has a lot to do with her work. So next time you're connected at a cafe, at home, or by the sea, remember the brilliant mind of a Hollywood star who quietly changed the world of technology. Every time you connect to Wi-Fi, you owe a little thanks to the genius of Hedy Lamarr. Fact 7. Her real role was behind the scenes. For Hedy Lamarr, Hollywood was just the stage where she acted by day. The real film began at night. When the cameras stopped rolling, she would wipe off her makeup, change out of her gown, and enter a completely different world. Her small laboratory at home. Yes, you heard that right. Hedy Lamarr spent hours working with chemicals, circuits, and dismantled radio parts, conducting experiments without pause. People knew her as a beautiful actress, but no one knew that at night she was busy creating technology that would change global communication forever. She had no formal engineering education, yet her talent and analytical mind were far beyond academic training. The question that fascinated her was, how do enemy torpedoes track signals? And how can I disrupt that? During World War II, she focused on solving the U.S. Navy's major problem of signal interference. With the help of a composer, George Antheil, she created something remarkable: frequency hopping spread spectrum, a method of rapidly changing signal frequencies to prevent enemies from tracking them. This could have been a revolution in military technology at the time. Hedy and George even received a patent for the idea, but sadly the male-dominated military leadership dismissed them. "What can an actress and a musician teach us?" they scoffed, rejecting the invention. But Hedy didn't give up. Though she lived a glamorous public life, inside she was always an engineer, an inventor. She smiled on stage, but in the shadows she was making history. Fact 8. She pioneered the era of plastic beauty. Hedy Lamarr was not just a screen beauty. She was one of the women who fundamentally changed the concept of beauty itself. As she aged, the relentless Hollywood pressure for eternal youth didn't spare her either. At that time, plastic surgery was still very new and not widely practiced. Yet Hedy was among the first stars to turn to surgical methods to maintain her appearance. She wasn't just a patient. According to some sources, she worked closely with surgeons and even helped develop more effective techniques. It's said that she suggested innovations in facelift procedures that later inspired advancements in cosmetic surgery. Ironically, Hedy Lamarr was once hailed as the most beautiful woman in the world. But as time passed, while struggling to preserve that beauty, her inner strength and intelligence often remained in the shadows. This fact highlights both Hollywood's ruthless beauty standards and Hedy's quiet battle against them. Fact 9. She spent her final years alone but free. In the last years of her life, Hedy Lamarr no longer appeared at glamorous premieres or walked red carpets. She lived a simple, quiet life in Florida. She gave interviews over the phone but rarely left her home. It was as if she had left behind the years of fame. Because for Hedy, freedom no longer meant being in the spotlight. She lived with inner peace, knowing the impact she had made on the world. One of her famous quotes reflects this perfectly. "I was born beautiful. That was not my choice. But being smart, that was my effort." Fact 10. She was truly recognized only after her death. Hedy Lamarr died in 2000 at age 86. By then, the world had long forgotten her as the most beautiful woman. Ironically, only after her death did people realize she was also a brilliant inventor. In 1997, shortly before she passed, Hedy and her partner, George Antheil, were officially recognized by the U.S. Patent Office for their technology that became the foundation of Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth. This recognition came too late. For years, she was remembered mainly for her beauty, while her genius remained overlooked. Today, Hedy is remembered not only as a movie star, but as the hidden mother of modern technology. Her story shows that women can be beautiful, strong, and brilliant, and don't need to live forever to prove it. She changed the world, but the world recognized her far too late. Do you think women like her receive the recognition they deserve in history? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. If this story moved you, like and subscribe to the channel and share the name of this powerful woman with your friends. Remember, every view, every share, every subscription helps raise the voices of silent heroes.